Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. This is that song that Wabi played on.
Yeah, I know.
Should we watch some of the video?
Sure.
Emily's got one crazy eye. She looks to the west and she looks to the sky. Don't ask how she sees. When she looks, she's watching you and me. And Emily knows something
Ah. Hey, Boozhoo! And welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha Nindijanakaz. No, Nindijanakaz is not my last name. In Ojibwe, Indijanakaz means is what I'm called, is my name. So I say, Natasha Nindijanakaz. And over here, looking just cute.
Oh, get out of here, will you?
The star of the show, Nanaboozhoo. And today we got a couple of things planned. We're going to talk about the seasons. This is the reason for this season. So we're going to talk about some Ojibwe. You can see it right here. Ziguan is spring, because it feels like spring, huh, sweetie?
It sure does.
Do you mind if I just take over the show?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
So this is our live stream Ojibwe language podcast. And we go live most mornings between 6 and, I don't know, 8:30. We shoot for 6, but sometimes we end up taking a nap with Bagheera and then come on late. Huh, sweetie?
Yeah, that was what happened yesterday. Bagheera's our cat.
Oh yeah, Bagheera. We have a black cat named Bagheera. You know, like from the Jungle Book.
And got all set up, ready to go do our live stream. And there's old Bagheera lying in bed looking just cozy. So I thought, I'm just going to lie down with Bagheera for a second. Hawa woke up an hour later.
Yeah. So, but we're on time today. Usually the Boozhoo crew files in around this time. Let's see if anybody's online yet. Nope, nobody's here yet. Should we wait for the Boozhoo crew?
No, let's just go ahead. That might be kind of boring for people watching in the future. Let's just do the show.
Okay. So, welcome to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo. Today's Ojibwe word of the day, Ziguan, spring. Because, it's really starting to feel like spring here in Bemidji, Minnesota. We're filming live from north central Minnesota. The snow's melting away. I think it might all be gone, in fact. And got up to like 55 degrees or something yesterday. Everybody's cheering up. People aren't so crabby when they're driving around. So it's Ziguan, spring. And then we got Neben. After that, we'll have summer. Neben, summer. And summer is a very sacred time of the year for the Anishinaabe. Like what's not sacred? But Neben is summer. Then you got Biboon. Biboon is winter. And that's really what we're famous for in northern Minnesota, is winter. Whenever people picture living in Minnesota, they picture our winter. They go, oh, it must get cold up there in Minnesota. Do you live in Bemidji or do you live in Bemidji? Because, it's so cold. Nah. And then Dugwagon. Fall or autumn. Autumn is such a pretty name. Autumn. It's a pretty name for a girl. That became popular after I grew up. I didn't know anybody named Autumn when I was a little girl. But in Ojibwe, we call autumn or fall Dugwagon. And that's a sacred time of the year. You can say that about just about anything. Oh, the caterpillar is a sacred animal to the Anishinaabe. Make up some story. In the Anishinaabe way, back in the days of their grandfathers. It's so sacred. But anyway, so what can I say about the seasons? They change all the time. You're constantly going through a season. For everything, turn. There is a season. I hate that song. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think that's a biblical verse, in fact. But I don't know. All the leaves are brown. And the sky is gray, I've been for a walk, on a summer's day. Hey, Jim is here. Sweetie, Jim is here.
Okay, hey, Boozhoo, Jim.
Nanaboozhoo says hello, Jim. And I say, Boozhoo. Welcome back to the show. We were just talking about the seasons. And I was singing an old 70s song. Badly. That was an old Sesame Street song that they made popular. Sing a song, make it happy to last the whole day long. La la la. But the whole theme was that it doesn't matter if you're good or not, just sing. And then you grow up and you start to, you start to hear bad singers and you go, no wait, don't sing, just stop. Cardi B. Please stop. We're begging you. Don't sing that song. It's so gross. What has happened to the world? Cardi B. Ugh, you're so gross. I didn't think anybody could be more outrageous than Madonna. More in your face and not sexy. Just too much. And then Cardi B comes out of nowhere. Joe Biden's friend. And she's got that song. I don't even want to say what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Oh, she's just the worst. But here I am talking about her, so what are you gonna do? Spring, Zigwan. In the Anishinaabe way, spring is a time for the sugar bush. Everybody wants us to talk about sugar bushing. That's a big part of the native culture. It's I think my grandpa used to casually gather some maple syrup. I think he did a lot when he was a young guy. But I don't know. Indians aren't just going out and getting our syrup from the trees. We're buying it and that's something we could talk about. Old Aunt Jemima. She's out of a job. During this time of the maple sugaring, spring is a time, traditionally, when the Anishinaabe would gather the maple syrup and make, syrup and maple sugar. And I guess they don't talk about this much because everyone's always so focused on the plight of the Native American, how poor we were. But during that period of time when the white people came and they didn't have any sugar, I guess the Ojibwes really made some good money in the maple sugar trade, nationwide. They were entrepreneurs and businessmen because they were the keepers of the sweet stuff. In fact, My grandpa's Indian name was something like how'd that go? Something, win an E. But it translated as sweet touch man. And my brother was like, I bet you he had something to do with maple sugar. Here in a Ziguan. But, like everything, even syrup has been politicized. You know what I'm saying? Jessica, Boozhoo, Midoki Gajem, my sister. So nice to see you here. Such a boys' club. What was Nanaboozhoo and Michael and Jim? I need my sisters to feel comfortable. Because we are family. Well, I got all my sisters and me. But anyway, so they politicized syrup. Now, you can't have Aunt Jemima syrup anymore. It's racist. How dare you objectify? Not all black women pour syrup out of their brains. Or whatever the offense was. I don't know. But they got rid of Aunt Jemima. Now she's in the unemployment line with the little girl from Land O'Lakes. All the women of color, they're banning them. They're getting rid of them. They're like, oh no, we're helping you. Really? These are working women. Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima was your auntie. I guess I'm getting old because I don't understand the offenses anymore. Like, oh, that's offensive now? Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I identify as a ma'am. You misgendered me. You want me to take you out back? I'll show you what a ma'am I am. Like that dude who got so mad because he identified as a dude and he went into a store and the guy was like, can I help you, sir? He goes, sir, I'm a ma'am. And the guy was just like all flustered. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, sir, ma'am. And I just lost it. You want to take it outside? I'm calling your corporate office. Like, gonna get him into trouble. So sorry. I can't get with it. In a time, when I was a kid, you gave a pass to the elders. Once in a while, your grandma might say something kind of racist. Oh, the Chinamen sure don't know how to drive, or whatever, And you go, oh, she's from another time. She doesn't know. She's silly, But nowadays, they just expect everyone to jump on and immediately understand the new rules. Now a person may identify as a different gender, and you should immediately just get on board and play along. Or you're transphobic. I don't care if you're a 98-year-old grandma who just doesn't understand that a 6'2" man in a wig is literally a woman now. People would get offended. How dare you? It's just like easy. People just need some time to adjust. People are pretty good natured. They don't care. It's like, what do you want to call yourself? Dr. Dre? Oh, are you a doctor? No, I'm a rapper. And yeah, my mom gave me some name, but I chose the name Dr. Dre because I identify as a rapper. Okay, doctor. Nobody cared. I'm sure Cher had 2 names when she was born. But people can just call themselves anything they want. And people will go, okay, fine, I'll call you that. I was watching, like everyone else, I did not watch the Grammys. But I saw some clips. And apparently, along with this Cardi B, is that her name? I hope I'm getting the name right. That terrible woman who sings about her private parts. What's going on? I feel so old. But, so Cardi B teams up with somebody named the, Thee, like biblical the, stallion, which is a male horse, and it's a girl. And she's like, I'm Judy the Stallion, or whatever her name is. I don't think it's Judy. But, where was I going with this? Something about not getting with it. Oh, so her name is Judy the Stallion. And people are just like, oh, today's Grammy performer will be Cardi B. I mean, is her last name Bartholomew? Or whatever? What is her name? No, I choose my name to be Cardi and just the letter B. And this will be my singing partner. And her name is whatever, the Stallion. That's what. Was the Italian Stallion? No, that's Rocky. It's like nobody ever told you. You're not supposed to give yourself a nickname. But no matter how stupid, it just, you can call yourself a doctor if you're not a doctor. I mean, is Dr. Phil a doctor? I don't know. Dr. Dre, Cardi B, somebody, the Stallion. This is stupid. I'm calling a new rule. I don't know. It's too late. People just call themselves whatever. I don't know. What am I gonna do? Oh, sweetie, what are you gonna do? The world's gone crazy.
Has it?
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it has. But then I think I'm just watching too much YouTube. I'm paying too close of attention to the beast. Ziguan, spring, a time of new beginnings. A time when maybe we can finally turn down the heat. Can you guys hear that gentle hum of this laundromat we live in called our home? Sometimes I just can't even bother with turning down the heat for the show. Oh, who cares? I noticed yesterday when we were, the audio was just crummy. You could hear the traffic in the street. That's what's nice about coming on early. There's not too many cars going by.
Yeah, huh?
So, Ziguan, spring. Neepin, summer. Out on the road today, I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back. You can never look back. I thought I knew what love was. What did I know? Those days are gone forever. I should just let them go. I just got sad singing The Boys of Summer. And then there's Boon is winter, a time of reflection. For the winter dark of late December, there is no solution. You just gotta grit and bear it and get through it. Sometimes that's what winter is. Jessica says, today is the first day of Ziguan, isn't it? I'm so glad. Oh, is it really? Oh, that's lucky. I just picked it out of a hat. I just saw the word Ziguan written. I went, okay, that could be the word of the day. I didn't realize today was actually the first day of spring. Perfect. See, we are being guided. So yeah, happy first day of spring then, everybody. This is probably some sort of pagan holiday that, we're going to forget. Yeah, I'm so glad too. And she says, I'm here for you, Natasha. Me glad, sister. We are family. And then Dogwagon. Autumn. Or the fall. When the leaves fall. When the wall come tumbling down. Fall. The fall of man. We're witnessing the fall of the Roman Empire right now.
The Roman Empire?
Or the American Empire, whatever. That's what I think is going on. It's just a slow motion fall of an empire. Excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. But, yeah. These are crazy, 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 crazy nights. They're canceling Aunt Jemima. They cancel the little girl on Land O'Lakes butter. They canceled Uncle Ben. They're canceling all our family, the uncles and the aunties. What's next? Are there any cousins who are selling food? Jessica says, yeah, go stand a broomstick straight up in your kitchen. First day of spring. Oh, is that a thing? Stand a broomstick straight up in your kitchen. I think what she means is it's floor washing day, huh? Gazibigee, sakana gay, geese are good. Today is Saturday, the sacred day of the floor washing. The day we honor the floor and the broom with floor washing day. Gazibigee, sakana gay, geese are good. All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of sacred, I'm going to say a little prayer real quick. And then I'm going to turn the camera over to Nanaboozhoo. This is called Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo, not Boozhoo Natasha. Nah. All right. Get serious. Come on. Oh, Lord, my God.
Hello, love.
Oh, geez. Sorry, what was that?
Well, it's me. It's the Great Spirit himself.
Oh, hi, Great Spirit. Boozhoo Gitchimanadu.
Oh, Boozhoo, Natasha. Oh, it's lovely to see you this morning. I just love your singing voice. I love it, my dear.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks. I was just going to say a little prayer to you.
Can you say it in the language?
The language?
You know what I'm talking about, love. I'd love to hear you say the Lord's Prayer. Say it in OJIBWE, would you? Would you, lass?
Oh, I do for you, Gitchimanadu. You're my Father who art in heaven.
Oh, that's a good girl. All right, then. I'm going to let you get at it. I'll see you again. GOFUNDME, Minoa.
GOFUNDME, Minoa.
Although I'm sitting right here, I'm not really going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Gitchimanadu, people. I can't. We used to have a little photo not available, but he's invisible, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to do it. Just be quiet. Nusana wakwing ebian. Apekish kichitwa wendamig. Kira nuzoen. Apekish big dagwishanu magak. Kitu ki mawi win. And endamen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Apekish ishiwe pak. Tibishku wakwing migu. May your will be done. Gaye aking. Migu gaye ish baming. On earth as it is in heaven. Mijishinang noko agijagak nambakwejigan. Gani imanan minik iyoyang. Give us today our daily bread. Bunigadeta wishanang. Gaiji nishkahing nangagi. Forgive us for our offenses against you, just as we forgive others. Keko gaye iji wishanan kange. Kagwe dibening gay winning. Do not lead us into temptation. Dash inama wishananga maye nadak. And keep us from what is evil. Ape inge. Amen.
Oh, that was lovely, my daughter.
Thank you, Gitchimanadu. I gotta do the rest of the show, okay?
All right, then.
Miigwech Bizendari, eh? Thank you for listening.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Well, everybody, I'm gonna turn the camera over to Nanaboozhoo. You wanna get up here, sweetie?
Sure.
So let's... I'm going to play that video again. This is a song with Wapi Maingan. Seeing Wolf, I guess. Vision Wolf. With a friend of ours, great guitar player named Wapi Maingan. And we recorded this a long time ago, but it's still pretty cool. So what did I do with it? Media source. Why don't I ever... you know... Oops, there's no sound. Hold on.
Emily's got one crazy eye. She looks to the west and she looks to the sky. Don't ask how she sees. When she looks, she's watching you and me. Emily knows something about blow. Dizzy white snow finds its way up her nose. And don't ask how she feels. Mice and men are her only meals. But I can only say that I've seen better days, and this is my mistake, and I'll get only what I take.
Okay, hey, Boozhoo. How you doing? I guess I could have just let that play, but I don't know. Boozhoo, Brandy Marie is here. Hey, Brandy Marie just stopped by. Boozhoo, Brandy. Okay. And Boozhoo Jessica, nice to see you. Let me click over here so I can see the comments. Haha, that too. Wait. Jessica's, yeah, go stand a room. That too, but try standing a broomstick straight up. Old spring tradition. Oh, just try standing it up on its own? I don't know. My broom has got one of those weird cuts where it just, it leans well, but it doesn't stand well at all. Unless you flip it up, maybe. It's all about balance. Ancient Chinese tradition. Ancient... Confucius say, life is balance. All thing in, I don't know what he said. Be like water. I don't know. I think that was Bruce Lee. Yeah. Bruce Lee, oh wow, he was cool. Karate guy. There's always been a kind of a subculture of people who are into karate. People loved the Bruce Lee movies. Then eventually that gave way to the, Billy Jack. And then the Karate Kid in the 80s. And then by the time the Matrix comes around in the 90s, he was a judo guy. Oh, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those guys were karate guys. Karate was fun. I had this little book that would show you karate moves. It had a picture on every page, and it would be like left-handed block, the wax off, up, down. And it would just show you every kind of move you could possibly do. But when you flipped them really fast, it would turn into like animation where you'd see like this photograph guy of doing karate moves. And I don't know if they planned that or if it's just like a happy accident. No, I love that book. You could just flip through it and watch a karate guy move, like animated. And I remember when I was a little guy, my Uncle Vernon used to come over and teach us karate. And when I was older, I realized he didn't know karate. That's where I got that book. He was just goofing around. He never took a karate class in his life. And then when I got a lot older, he gave me some tips for bar fighting. He goes, my only advice for you in bar fighting is fight dirty. There's no honor in it. Pull him off the bar stool, stomp on his nuts. That's what he said to me. Today is a Ojibwe word. Sorry, kids. I shouldn't be talking about bar fights and stomping on your privates. I mean, who do I think I am? Cardi B. That's not our way. That's not the Anishinaabe way to sing about your private parts. I mean, not because I'm not a feminist. I am. This is what a feminist looks like, you guys. You know? But I don't think you're supposed to be singing about that. Granted, I know I sound like a hypocrite because Paul Stanley sang about Love Gun, you know, and the Love Gun wasn't really about guns. So maybe Cardi B has a point. Maybe this is just a response to, you know, you pulled the trigger of my love gun. Love gun. I mean, what was that? Of course, he didn't win a Grammy for it. And at least there was a little nuance. You hinted around at your dirty stuff. You didn't just, you know, say it so blatantly. Ugh. I don't know. I can't imagine her having any fans. That's the weird thing. But Jessica writes, yeah, but Paul Stanley wasn't ever nominated for the Kids' Choice Awards. Yeah. That's a difference. She's being promoted to the kids. That's what makes it so evil. It's not like Cardi B just organically started getting a whole bunch of little girls interested in her music, whatever you want to call that. The corporations decided one day, hey, you know what we should do? Let's introduce this thing with the fake butt, boobs, nails, hair. Who knows about her face? She's the fakest and then gross, crassest thing you'll ever see. Probably transgender, actually. Now that I think about it. And then they roll it out and they start playing her music over and over again. And then get her on every talk show. Get the President of the United States. Let's never forget that. The President, or the few interviews that he would do, one was with Cardi B. You know? Okay, Joe. You're going to stand by that relationship? The journalist Cardi B and her... I don't know. I shouldn't talk about it because I'm just been promoting her too. But you can run, you can hide, but you never get away. You can lie and deny, but you know you're going to pay. What were you thinking, Paul? What's that? Writing a song like Love Gun. Do you think it was appropriate to sing about your love gun? You know, it was just poetry. I wanted to write a song that people might think, oh, is he really singing about guns or is he singing about something else? Yeah, I know. It's got the coolest guitar riff ever and drum riff. Da 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 da. It was like Kiss got together and said, let's make the rhythm something about, I don't know, think machine gun. They're like, okay. Paul Stanley even picks it up and holds it like a gun and then points it into the audience and sprays the audience with his fake machine gun bullets. Nowadays, he jumps on a thing, he puts his foot in this thing, and he swings out into the middle of the audience and plays on another stage and then swings back. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Jessica says, she also admitted to drugging, raping, and robbing a man. But she's a woman, so no problem. Yeah, I heard that. She just blatantly admits that she would, when she was a stripper. Here you go, kids. Here's a role model. When she was a stripper, that she would bring, when she was a prostitute, she would bring men back to the hotel and then put roofies, drug them up, and then rob them. Thank God she didn't kill them. But here you go. No problem. How come she doesn't get canceled? You know? Oh, I forgot to do it. I was going to pull up a picture of Andrew Cuomo. Oh, is he in a lot of trouble? I could have said this was coming. Because first of all, he kills a whole bunch of old ladies in the nursing homes. He was like, oh, you got a disease? Yeah, come right in. And no, you can't leave. I'm going to bound you all together, quarantine. And then there's all this sexual craziness, you know, people accusing him. He's being Me Too'd. And I was like, yeah. And he has pierced nipples. That alone, that's enough. We should have got rid of him when we found out about that. Ick. Cuomo, you creep. I mean, do what you want, I guess. But I don't know. I don't trust anybody with it. Especially a man in his 70s with a pierced nipple. What's going on? I want Lincoln to come back and slay these vampires with his axe. Because I hear that's what happened. He was a vampire slayer. Oh, I'm getting just cranky first thing in the morning. Why are you so cranky? I don't know. Out on the road, I was thinking about the boys this summer. I miss my old boys this summer. You know, there's no friends like those friends you had when you were 18. The kind of people that you would go on a road trip across the country, crammed in a car, drunk together. You would trust your life with this band of merry men, the boys of summer. Do girls have, like, camaraderie like that? Sometimes. Sometimes you can have a group of really good friends, but no, mostly we hate each other. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's tough to be friends with girls. But I think there's something almost genetic about men friendships that we never talk about because, you know, excuse my French, that would be gay. But men, like, there's something in us that wants to be in a troop of soldiers, wants to rely on each other like warriors. Even when you're just hanging out with your buddies in 1985, listening to Van Halen, drinking canned beer by a fire. You know, there's something in it where it's like, man, if I had to, you always get that question, you know, about fighting for each other. Or sometimes you might even have one of your buddies. I've had friends fight for me. Or some guy wanted to beat me up, but then a buddy would jump in and go, oh, no, you don't. And then he would fight him. And there's nothing between those two except this guy wanted to fight me. I didn't have to fight much because I had tough, violent friends in my group of the boys of summer. There's David, Brent, Lenny, Randy. To a lesser degree in high school, Mark. I mean, no offense, Mark. I need you now, but Lenny. Actually, I don't know why I said that about Mark. Mark was totally part of the boys of summer. Chris. I mean, I had a group of friends who were also like the speech guys, the theater guys. It was a different circle. Those guys didn't get into fights. I mean, there were people who wanted to beat them up for being theater people, if you know what I mean. But my redneck friends, I guess. They didn't know they were rednecks. They thought they were rockers. But the guys who would, drink beer in a fish house, an ice house, or whatever it's called. Those are my friends. So on this first day of spring, Ziguan, I think about the boys of summer, actually. The friends who shared in your enthusiasm on that last day of school. The people who were there. That one buddy who had his portable radio, and right at 3 o'clock, he just pushed play, and the intro to School's Out by Alice Cooper started to blare. Dun da da dun da da dun da da do 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 do. Well, we got no class, and we got no principals. Oh, that's the other thing. My principal passed away. Oh, Mr. Brooks started his journey. So I went to a really small school, LaPorte School. And I was there as a head starter. And I was there as a kindergartner, first grader, all the way up through 12th grade. Same school. And so you get to know those teachers pretty well. And they get to know your family pretty well. At Christmas time, my parents would have like a Christmas party. And I'd see all these teachers show up at my parents' house and get drunk. And we're like, hey, Mr. Brooks. So I grew up where you had to call like adults Mr. Brooks. Mr. whoever, And old Mr. Brooks, I remember when we were in elementary, he was just a typing teacher. And in the summers, he had to work in the grocery store. And it'd be weird because he'd go from wearing a tie. He was one of these teachers, your classic bald, mustache, short sleeve, button-up shirt with a tie, khakis or slacks, gym shorts. But I remember noticing, in the summer he has a different job. He's a butcher or whatever. He works in the grocery store. And he doesn't have any power over me in the summer. In fact, I can ask him can we get a pound of salami? But then he worked his way up. He went to school in the summer. And he got his certification. He got his coaching license, so he became like the assistant coach. And I remember that guy. Assistant coaches are the ones who would scrimmage against you when there weren't enough kids or whatever. And so we, played sports with this guy, and he was the coach. And he was the teacher. I remember one year, old Herb, it's funny, I never thought of this. Herbie. He planted some pot in Mr. Brooks's planter in his classroom. And every day the kids would be like, don't forget to water your plant, Mr. Brooks. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. And we watched that pot plant grow to about 4 inches tall before he finally goes, what is this? It looks like a weed. He pulled it out, threw it away. I don't think he even knew what it was. But he was a good guy, He was the kind of guy who would yell at you and make you run, make you do push-ups. But he was always fair, and I don't know. He was one of these tough but loving teachers, coaches in my life. And he passed away last year. It's probably been a year now or so. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, Mr. Brooks, miigwech. Thank you. See you soon enough. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm just kidding. I feel good. All right. Well, hey, you guys. We don't have any calls today, do we, sweetie? No, we forgot to do that. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a show. I know it's a little early, but somebody's thumb is just falling asleep. So I want to say miigwech ganawabieg. Thank you for watching. Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo, the podcast about the 4 seasons. Ziguan, Nibin, Bibun, Dagoagan, and culture. I am Nanaboozhoo, and I will see you again. Oh, and this is Natasha. Boozhoo! And I will see you again. GOFUNDME. Minowa. Oh. All right. Huh? Oh, wait. Now it's end.